everybody, and welcome to a pub chat here on the Shills. And before we get started here, we got a full house. We may have a couple other people coming as well. But before we get started, if you're in the live chat and you used to have a blue wrench in our channel and you don't right now, and you're wondering why, well, we've had to make it so that if you are a moderator on this channel, you are in the private chats in the background where you can be, talk with the other moderators and stuff. It has to be a proper team. So that's a couple of people that aren't in that room that had wrenches. You don't have wrench now. But if you want it, just simply tell us you want to be a part of the team. Join the little back. It's very simple. It's no big deal. You just got to be in that room. So that's what we're doing. We got Duncan, Nick, Slavy, Claire, Commander McMillan, and a couple others joining us as well. Holy, I'm going to take a breath now. What's happening, everybody?
Ooh, hello, everybody. Good evening, and welcome to the not Ukraine update. There's been no updates whatsoever. We're not going to know anything. But, yeah, no, we'll do back dates instead of not updates. We'll do some back dates, down dates. What do you call them? Down dates?
Nick does, yeah.
Stuff you already know.
Oh, so what's happening, everybody? We've got time to fill, and I have no idea where y'all want to start or go. No rules around here. Just be yourself and say what you will. And it's your fault if you spill the beans on yourself a little too much.
Okay, well, I'm here just for trucks. I'm declaring my interest. I'm a mercenary girl, and I'm here for trucks. And with our truck campaign, we have a late starting horse.
Yeah.
Which is IPS01, P-Style 11, I think is. He's on Twitter, and he provides a lot of information which people use when they're creating their news stories. And he's a bit like War Translated, but he's not quite as big as the coverage of him. Anyway, he gets lots of videos from the front line, and he only launched his campaign yesterday. And this horse has some legs, let me tell you, because he's just about to overtake the Shills.
Yeah, he's at 2,000 euro already, right?
I think he's past 2,000, isn't he? I think he's higher. While we were just talking on WhatsApp this morning, he raised $500 and went from 1,000 something. He's got, 2,004.
Okay.
So you're on 2,305. And I reckon during this show, unless your team get a go on, this horse is going to pass you and be heading for the finish line.
I know that's why I didn't recognize him, because our presence on Twitter is 0. So
good on you. It's an awful hole to get into, but It's got some spread still. It gets out to people.
It still does. That's the thing. There was debate about it on our team as well. Should we have an X account? Because there's still lots of folks there. It's just makes me sick to my stomach to think about it.
No, I don't think it's too. I wouldn't do it.
It's a tough position to be in. It's something that we've talked about on our show for quite some time. As soon as Elon Musk took over, we're like, okay, it's already an ethical problem, and it's just a question of how big does the problem get. But if you're a content creator, unfortunately, part of what you do has to be to reach out to people. We did do the interview with Hodges, and at the time, the only way I knew to get a hold of him was Twitter. Yeah, and that's how I got a hold of him. There was no other way, and it's just sort of like we'd have missed that interview if we had been off of Twitter.
Yeah,
that's a really hard position to be in.
Yeah, and
we do sell message pigeons in the Shills store, so you can buy some of those.
But it's that whole thing where to get your word out as a channel, marketing, networking, and so on and so if X, man, that's a tough one. I feel like I'm in the washing machine, just being tumbled around as soon as I start thinking about it, right?
Yeah, most of the connections I made were on X, and it's hard to leave. But right now it's actually pretty entertaining to be kind of looking into what's happening on X between Elon Musk and MAGA. So surprise, surprise.
I know. Oh, that's fun.
What is happening? What is happening?
Yeah. Explain, Slavy. What, you can't drop that bomb and just put your mic down. What are you talking about?
It's the leopard face eating party.
I think MAGA is obviously against the immigration, and what Elon wants to do is keep the visas to bring in the expert type people, and obviously MAGA is against it, and they want, American jobs for Americans. But Elon's like, no, you guys are stupid. You're retards. Sorry, subtards.
Yeah.
And we want to bring in Indian people or whoever, and to do their jobs because it's going to cost less and they can work over 80 hours a week. So obviously MAGA hates that, and there we go.
And I'm trying to find right now, it's not just that. Laura Loomer pointed out that looking at, this is Laura Loomer of all
Laura
people.
Looney.
She actually tweeted, she's like, have you noticed that when you look at the Doge setup, it heavily favors the uber rich and wealthy. That's what Laura Loomer of all people said on Twitter. Then somebody was just like, welcome, welcome to real life. I mean, this is what you've been a part of.
She took the pill.
And then Musk himself literally came in and said, don't listen to that, to the loon that was trying to tell her she was right. He's like, he's loony, don't listen, we know what we're doing. And it's like, wow.
Listen to the unelected official.
Yeah.
Wow.
Isn't there like a massive pushback at the moment from the Republican Party against all of Trump's proposed policies? There's kind of like there's sort of divisions being seen.
It's not against everything. It's against specific parts that look to be favoring very specific individuals, most of whom are not them. And that's a lot of why they don't like it, because if these positions are put into law or effect, then it means they're operating at a disadvantage to the people that he's showering the benefits upon.
Right.
Commander Macmillan, if I can ask, are you of the opinion that Trump doesn't give two fucks about people who aren't millionaires? Is that what you're suggesting?
I would say it's in the vicinity of half a fuck, not two full fucks.
Okay.
Just clarifying my.
No, I think that's important. That's very important. The quantity of fucks is probably important to someone somewhere. And I suspect that this is what Dick meant earlier when if you go too far and say something that it's on you.
Yeah.
I think this is the one where I'm going to get clipped on this one, and I'm going to get clipped very badly.
What I am seeing, though, is the Democrats are lining up with Elon Musk. Excuse me. Yeah, they're lining up with Elon Musk because it's closer to their immigration policies. So that's kind of worrisome.
Interesting. We got Andrew in a couple minutes late, but hey, welcome, buddy. Good to see you.
How we doing? Apologies. I hope my microphone's good. I'm on a laptop and mobile stuff, so it might sound a little different.
Yeah, you're coming through clean, though. Yeah.
Oh, coming in clean. I'm going to run upstairs and grab my food and come on back. But when it comes to the Democrats siding with Elon, I think it's more so to just be a problem. I mean, that's the energy I'm on. Like, I'm just trying to mess with them. I am trying to bring them against each other, and I'm absolutely trying to make it worse. And that's what I'm going to be doing. So I don't think it's more so siding with Elon, like, hey, Elon's right. Yeah. Maybe by proxy, because his argument fits in more, like Savi said. But the energy is I'm trying to ruin their entire thing that they have, this whole unity with MAGA that needs to die, because they're not really united. They're just using each other to further their own goals. And I mean, I'm just going to highlight it. So that's what I say on that.
And didn't some bloke come down on Marjorie Taylor Greene this week?
Say again?
Didn't some people go against Marjorie Taylor Greene?
Yeah, because she came out in support of Elon, and at its core, like, MAGA in theory is supposed to be against these billionaires and supposed to be against them, but they used them to help get elected this time. So now it's going to.
We're only against their billionaires, not against our
Yeah. No, I was in a debate actually about Elon on Wick TV's platform, and specifically the guy arguing for Elon said, "Well, just get good, basically, get your own billion, get George Soros to do what we're doing." But I'm like, but isn't George Soros like the demonized Elon that you think he is? But apparently he's not. I guess I don't know. I'm gonna go get my food though, guys. I'll be right back.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yeah, I just saw a thing in the background. I was checking this, and somebody said, "Well, even Republicans don't want to drive $140,000 Kias." So yeah, they're getting pissed off.
Well, it's great to see them ripping into each other, and even Trump didn't hold with little Mike Johnson for very long, did he?
No.
One has to wonder if that's actually by design.
I don't think they have a design. Isn't their purpose a bit like Putin to create chaos?
There are enough factions on the GOP side, and that's the umbrella GOP, that Trump is going to always be in a position where he has to worry that somebody's maneuvering against him. Yeah. So the more he can split factions off against one another and ignore him, the more secure he is in his position.
Isn't this what Putin does as well?
Pardon?
He sets what Putin does, the same as what Putin does as well. Sorry, my microphone's bad, but I haven't been able to get to the shop because of Christmas.
Yeah.
Dick has already reprimanded me about my microphone, so I'll shout.
Nick knows the feeling. I just did this talk.
You know what? I don't recall anyone asking you, Dick. Thank you for your opinion. I'm not bitter. No, I honestly wouldn't mind if when I come here, I'm like muted and none of my shit works. It's the fact that it's just as bad on my show. It's like my own show, nobody hears me, and they're all like, "Oh shoot, Nick's mic just kicked in." I'm like, "Really?
Yeah.
Really?"
Yeah, but not for long.
No, that's true. That's true. You and I share the same producer. we have for a very long time, actually.
Yeah. Drunk fucker, but yeah.
Yeah. Mine's sober, so he's got no excuse.
So back to the commander, you two. Come on, he was saying something quite sensible for a while there. I think this idea of the man at the top sets the dogs onto each other to keep in the top position is what Putin does with the FSB against the army and the bloggers against the army, against the FSB, and all of those. He just keeps them all arguing amongst himself so that he can stay as the pearly white thing at the top. I think he and Trump are both doing the same thing. But it was fun to see, the ultimate boy man, Mike Johnson, get a bit of a put down.
Well, and Commander, you had said before too that this was maybe a bit of a night of the long knives kind of thing, where Hitler was eliminating his competition.
Yeah, I don't think we're quite at that stage, because I think the factions are still sorting themselves out. And once Trump becomes aware of which is his greatest rival, then you have Night of the Long Knives. The way things are stacking up right now, though, I suspect that in fairly short order, he and Musk, their bromance is going to end.
Yeah,
we're being offered dinner, just so everybody.
God, look at that.
Yeah,
my bad.
I hope you got enough for everybody.
Yeah, sure. Did I just put that delicious food right in front of my camera? Oops.
Yeah. My modem can transmit chicken, so I'm in.
We're having pasta tonight. It's really good.
Oh, cool.
Anyways, I've been listening to the whole conversation, so just I'm hearing what you guys are saying.
Oh, good.
All right.
Where was we?
Yeah.
So it's not. He's right
to the
now.
long knives.
Yeah, long knives coming up after the parties have settled that he's going to have to have a more proactive, find a way to make sure that they're fighting each other or find a way to eliminate them entirely. But Musk is his biggest. Yeah, sorry.
Yeah. Honestly, I think that's one of the reasons so many of the cabinet nominees that he's floated are such out there whack jobs, because he figures those people can't get organized enough to be a threat to him to invoke the 25th Amendment. As long as you get a bunch of loonies who can't agree on anything, that chaos will stay in place and he gets to stay at the top of the dung heap.
I think that Amendment? For us who don't live in America, what the hell is the 25th?
The 25th Amendment allows the cabinet to say that based on our determination, we believe the president is no longer capable of effectively performing his duties, and we are relieving him of those duties, and the vice president assumes the president or whatever.
Well, that's not likely anytime soon, is it?
Oh my God, that means Vance.
Well, so our best understanding, we don't know for sure, but our best understanding is that his previous cabinet actually was strongly considering and attempted to pull the 25th. And what happened was they went to Vice President Pence and said, we're going to invoke the 25th Amendment. And he said, no, I will not support this. Now, he actually has no say in the matter. He has no say in the matter because it's the cabinet. But since he would be becoming president, they decided they would not go without his approval. He said no. So to the best of our understanding, and I don't know unless Commander knows the source, I don't.
Assuming the vice president declines the office, then who's next in line? Isn't it the speaker? Speaker of the House. And at the time, that would have been a Democrat, right? So
it would have been
Jesus,
yeah.
Isn't
So
it kind of
Pence is saying, if you do this, a Democrat will become president. Is that really what you want?
So Trump being Trump, his biggest concern coming into this is probably the 25th, even though nobody's thinking about it, nobody cares about it, nobody's even brought it up. It was the thing that nearly got him last time, and he had no idea until it was like basically over.
Yeah, isn't it kind of ironic that Pence had an opportunity to hang him out to dry?
Yeah.
That's the one surprising thing, is considering how nasty and opposed he was to Pence, dismissing him as, an incompetent and everything, how Pence remained loyal to him throughout, which I find very curious.
Well, it shows a weakness in Pence, doesn't it? A lack of vision. And
I think Pence truly believes that the U.S. Constitution was written by God. And I think
we can't forget that he's an extremely religious man.
He is. He won't be in the same room with a woman without another person present. He is unbelievably religious, and he does believe that God at least had a hand in the writing of the Constitution. So what that means is, if it comes to betraying Trump, I think he's unbelievably loyal, but he is institutionalized. So when Trump said, "I'm going against the institution,"
institutionalized. Okay.
Then that was it, and I think that was he wasn't going to go against God, which said he didn't.
It sounds to me like he just said he liked
constitutionalist. It also means he doesn't agree with most of the amendments. He wants to go back to pre-amendment constitution.
But he wants to do it the right way, which is really amazing. He doesn't want to overthrow the system. He wants to use the system to
overthrow itself.
Oh yeah, exactly. So he's within the system, wants to dismantle the system, but he wants to do it using this because it's ordained by God. And I think he truly felt that January 6th was a test of God over whether he was going to be loyal to his principles of being beholden to the superior in command or to the divine Constitution, and he went with the Constitution.
Yep.
And I'm not. None of this is hyperbole.
No. I mean, it just amazes me how they roll out God on call to justify a whole range of behaviors and belief systems and intimidation of minor groups, and it all comes down to God. I mean, how they perceive this God thing.
Yeah,
Well,
of course, God doesn't get
really,
the vote. He's not a US citizen.
Yeah. What really makes it amazing to me is how they can say, oh, we're very good Christians and everything. And yet from this same group, there have been pastors who have come out and said things like, Jesus was too woke and too liberal, but they're good Christians. You know, and it's just
It's terrific stuff. And then you can say whatever you like, and then if you say it with conviction, people think, somebody will start believing you somewhere, it seems.
Yeah, Christianity is what I determine it is.
Yeah.
Why don't we have JP? Why don't we have Jonathan in this right now?
We need
Jonathan would love this
here.
conversation. He would be so happy right now.
Yeah.
He would be so happy.
This is the time when he's at the pub doing his philosophical with his mates.
Well, that's what we're doing. He should be here then.
Yeah, he should be here, but he should include us in his mates group more often.
It goes back to the supply side Jesus. I don't know if you ever heard that from Al Franken. It was so good.
Did you guys see there was you guys know Jesus was a communist meme? I saw just recently a reverse meme where, because communists didn't actually feed, but Jesus actually fed people. So that was pretty funny.
One of my favorites is when somebody comes up and will, tell the real Christians will somehow manage within the first 5 minutes of conversation with them to work in the phrase, well, I'm a Christian, to which I think the best response ever is that a biblical Christian or a Republican Christian?
Hold on a second here. That was earned.
Well, Christopher Hitchens always said, too, when they say that they follow the 10 Commandments, ask them which set, because there's at least 7 different sets depending on Protestant. It's just like, there are some significant differences in them. It's
one's grifting and one's traditional. Actually, like there's a scale there, and wherever you land on it,
it's like Humpty Dumpty and through the looking glass. A word means what I want it to mean, neither more nor less. That's why the logic here is. I decide what the reality is.
Well, speaking of which, what about the Council of Nicaea or whatever it was called? Was that theological or marketing?
That was pure political. There was nothing else. It was nothing but politics.
It was all power back then, right, Nick? You know what I mean?
It was politics. It was merging. It was trying to get all of the religions to merge. Jesus wasn't even considered the Son of God at that point. It was one remote sect that thought that he was the Son of God, and they said, we will give you that if you will move his birthday to the winter solstice.
Yeah, because
and
then
they said, sure. And
that brings the pagans in line, because now it lines up, right?
Yeah, and all the other Christians were like, well, we don't think he's the Son of God, and they're like, well, you do now.
No one asked my opinion.
I'd like you to decide these points.
Greg Jerry just turned off the stream, by the way.
Sorry, Greg.
Greg is in pain right now. He's like, oh.
Yeah.
So I said Jonathan would be super happy with this stream right now.
Yeah. I'm going to get 2 calls after. One from Jonathan congratulating us and one from Greg giving me shit.
He knows I'm a heathen. He and I have had that discussion. He's like, don't worry, Nick, I'm going to convert you. I was like, do you know how many times that's been tried?
Oh, yeah.
and by people higher up on the food chain of religion than you.
I had his head on the desk with the white flag waving one day from what I was saying. He was like, I give up. That was it.
So for me, I grew up Catholic, and I grew up Republican and conservative, and that all ties in together. It really does. Heavily, right? And then as time has gone on, like I've seen it for what it is now, and I'm on the opposite side of it because I see it as a grift, see it as trying to, and this is just how I see it, at least the Republican Jesus that we referred to, right? This idea.
That's
but
Jesus.
then, Jesus. But then I go to Ukraine and I see traditional Christianity and like actually like the what I was taught as a kid of like what being a Christian would be. It's like what Ukraine is. And then I'm like, looking at these people who are very anti-Ukraine, right? These MAGA type Republicans that use religion for everything. I'm like, how could you even be against something that you say that you practice or whatever, like whatever religion you think of? And Ukraine is like this very traditional, like old school, they are conservative, but what I was raised on. And I'm like, I'm okay with some of those values. I don't feel like you need to have religion to have these values at this point in my life. But for some people, religion does help them at least adhere to like a foundational moral structure, and that's okay.
Yeah.
But that's when I have a problem with it, when it becomes like MAGA types.
Yeah,
Christianity, where it's like clearly grifting. They're trying to take people's money and further their careers, and then just use religion as like and I'm just not a fan of that. But it was just ironic bringing it back to Ukraine, going to Ukraine for the first time, and obviously I've been there 5 times now, and I'm like, everything I was taught as a kid, or like what I thought this traditional family values, like that is what Ukraine is at its core. And it was just cool to see that and be a part of that when I got to go.
So how much is Zelensky hawking his Bibles for?
Well, according to MAGA, he's banning them. He banned religion.
He sells them apparently, according to MAGA.
Yeah.
I think that Trump sells them. Trump sells
anything.
He sells the shoes. He sells give me a.
I'm surprised there isn't kiosks in Chicago near the Trump Tower where you can buy his used underwear in like a machine.
Or his turds, just like he's using a golden toilet anyway. Just
it's a delivery system.
Why not?
This isn't Japan.
Have you watched there's a show on Netflix about life in North Korea and how they have a shit tax? So because they can't buy fertilizer, they're sanctioned. They have to collect all their own shit every week and deliver it to the marketplace. And then somebody comes along with a big truck and picks up all these bags of their shit. And then they don't get taxed if they can get enough weight of shit. Now, because they don't have enough food, it's really hard for them to create enough shit to get the weight so they don't get taxed. So there are some people who will go around and actually steal your shit from your toilet to take for their own because they can't get up the weight of shit to not get taxed. No. And so you end up with this great shit theft going on. And then, some poor soul has to go down to the market with a little paper bag of shit rather than a giant plastic bag of shit to give for the fertilizer for the farm.
Oh my God.
And then if you don't have the right weight, you get taxed. It's cool, isn't it?
Now, to be fair, using human excrement as fertilizer is fairly common in Asia.
I have no problem with using human fertilizer. I'm a great one.
The reason I'm pointing it out is a lot of Americans would, oh my God, they're using human.
Yeah.
That's very commonplace in a lot of Asian countries.
It's the stealing.
Taxing people for not having enough food.
Yeah.
It's the taxing by weight, the stealing of your neighbor's shit. And the whole scenario is just vile. But, the reason why we avoid putting human shit on the land is the amount of disease that can come from it. It gets washed into the waterway, then you pick up the water to feed, some city lower down the river, and you end up with typhoid and a whole lot of things. But
So Andrew's
Andrew's eating. I just want to point out his page.
You're damn right. Yep. Yes, I am.
Now, could you give us the GPS location of your toilet? Asking for a friend.
There's a few of them in this house. This is a big house. I'm up north in my aunt's house in Leech Lake, Minnesota, which is massive lake, beautiful lake. So cool. I'm actually enjoying a little vacation, I guess, away from the cities, which is nice. MAGA country up here for sure.
Yeah,
big Trump flags. The whole city has like Trump flags in it. But wow, it's beautiful. There's a beautiful lake. I got to do some ice fishing. It was awesome. So I think there's like 5 bathrooms in this house. So
wow, cool.
Yeah.
And one hopes they don't go into the lake.
Say again?
One hopes they don't effluent into the lake.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But, was it you, Nick, that said, Asians spread shit on the farm? Was you, Dunk, was it? Sorry. There's a reason why people get jelly belly and barley belly when they're traveling, because they eat the raw lettuce, and somebody spread a bit of E. coli around, and that's where it all comes from. So you don't eat raw food, right, when you're traveling in Southeast Asia because of these practices. But anyway, I'm not against it. I think it enriches the land. It's rubbish the way we,
But taxing it and stuff is all kind of weird.
Well, it's just
really off.
It does.
Just want to say, it's been very tough eating during the stream, you guys. It's been an added challenge.
Yeah,
we're doing our bit to help with your New Year's diet resolution.
Oh, thank you so much.
I will say it does help me understand how Russians and North Koreans get along so well.
When you think North Korea can't get any worse, and you hear all the things, and it's just like they're stealing each other's shit. It's like, really?
I know.
Really?
I know. There's a black market for human excrement. How can that be a thing? That's just so wrong.
The North Koreans captured in Ukraine are being treated better in jail than they are at home. They're like, I admit I committed crimes against Ukraine. Please, can I stay in prison for the rest of my life? Please don't send me back.
But the North Koreans were sending balloons loaded with crap to South Korea, and some of that was with human feces.
Yeah,
those weapons must have cost a fortune.
When you care to send the very best.
Is the rumor true? I've heard a rumor that Putin has his shit collected so no one can get his DNA.
That's what I've heard. Yeah,
buried secretly. Is that really true?
I would guess it is. I would.
I heard it. John Sweeney told me, and John Sweeney covered him pretty heavily for the BBC for a while.
Yeah,
he does do that. Yeah,
that's funny as hell, man.
He's like you said, no one can grab his DNA, so he has somebody carrying. He also has somebody carrying a suitcase for that. He had someone next to him just for that reason.
Wow! What? So they'll find out he's a clone.
Yeah, he doesn't really leave. He doesn't really leave the Moscow or his bunker right now. So you don't see it so much. But
now listen, back to our horse race briefly. We've got. PSO1 has raised $79 while we've been chatting, and Shills have only raised 30. So what's going on here? Come on, Shills, get in the race. He's going to pass you. He's raising twice as much as you.
Well, it could be. Could be. I will only be happy for him. It's just that's what it is. What are you going to do?
It's great, but isn't it great to have a late starter to push us across the line?
Doing it on like Twitter and stuff without being on like a video platform like YouTube and stuff. I find it surprising how successful some of these people can be. I had no clue that they could do what they were doing on those platforms. I had no clue.
Generally, it's a really bad platform for fundraising, but surprisingly war translated in this guy.
Yeah.
I don't know how far he can go with this, because when he came on board, it was Christmas morning. I turn on my phone and he goes, I think I'm ready for this. I'm in, but how do I do it? And I'm like, he says, I don't have a YouTube channel. And I go, okay, look, this is how you do it. You just we'll send you your donor box. You got to talk it up, you pin it, and away it goes. So, and then we share it like crazy.
You just have to bring out your inner Jehovah Witness and start canvassing,
Yeah. But so good on him, because, he's got a fair bit of spread. So let's hope. I just want 3 trucks in 3 days. I think we're going to do it.
Speaking of trucks and stuff, I thought Canty was going to join us today. He must be still recovering from his horseradish endeavors.
He's done pretty well, for a guy who didn't know what he could do. Yeah. He's got over $1,000. He's come up to, I hate to go from the other end, but third from bottom.
Considering he has, I think, less than 300 subscribers on YouTube, Lord Thunder and Jeebus, man, that's pretty good, right? Yeah.
So good on him. No, it's been fun to have, the big and the small whole thing working together.
Yeah. It's for us around here, it's just always fun to have new people to hang out with on the shows and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
We might have to rename this channel to The Pub or something. Just,
I think we have to get Jonathan Pierce to come on at least give us one day a week out of his own pub.
Yeah.
Because he's so interesting with his philosophicals.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, somebody in the chat there, Old Norse 175 says use Blue Sky. Yeah, we're on it at the Shills on Blue Sky. You'll find us.
Yeah. It's much nicer than
it's a happy place.
God,
you know. Yeah. I like it.
Twitter is now all MAGA and Vodniks. It's insane.
Vodniks.
Elon Musk names his daughter, so I dead named Twitter.
I've been having a blast on Twitter for the past 72 hours, but it's going to go away though. They'll Trump will take the stage, and then they'll all get whipped back into shape soon. So the fun will end in a little bit. I'm enjoying it for now though, and I'm taking advantage of it all the way. A lot of glorious postings and words that, it's forever because you posted them on the internet. So Elon crashing out on X yesterday, or for 2 straight days, you can't undo that. You can delete the tweets and whatnot, but that's forever now. And then he's going to have a position in Trump's government. And now we have a whole bunch of ammo just in the last 3 days to use. So it is much appreciated. And I've been having fun, but it will end, and I'll be very upset opening that app eventually.
Yeah.
Also, MAGA is starting to realize that Elon was not an actual free speech absolutist, since he's taking away their,
That's crazy.
Free speech as long as he agrees with it.
Pay to win speech. That's what it is. Like loot boxes in video games.
Oh yeah.
You can play the game for free, but if you want, you can spend some money.
Yeah.
Or not do bad things, or what they deem as bad things, which is criticizing Elon now. That's it. That's all it takes.
Yeah.
By the way,
he did that early on. Some reporter criticized him when the guy was gone, and it was just like, well, he's like, free speech. His first act on his free speech platform was to kick a respected reporter who criticized him.
Yeah.
Which is by far the worst. Then if you want to go like the Twitter files that he did, or that Matt Taibbi did, what Elon's done in the past just 72 hours tops that by like tenfold.
Oh yeah.
And he can't undo it. He did it to the MAGA base. He did it to the people that supported him, and they're never going to forget that. And it's going to be a nightmare. But for them, I guess I don't care. It's cool to watch.
Did they support him because he wasn't? He wasn't standing for vote or anything. So did they actually get a choice, or wasn't he just presented to them on a platter?
Elon?
Yeah. he was just presented.
He bought it. He bought them. Yeah.
Right.
He doesn't.
Yeah.
When he just has money, and he bought the platform, and then he paid $277 million for
No, I understand that. But as far as the MAGA group go, Elon Musk has just been paraded out by Trump, right? They didn't choose him. They're just been given
they'll go with where the wind blows, right? And when you're the richest man in the world that is attractive, you're like, the richest guy in the world, and Elon supports what we like, and then he turns on him now because he got what he needed. I mean, it's not like Trump is not going to be the president, right? He's going to be. We're in this lame duck phase right now, but he's going to be president, and Elon will be in there, and now he can talk to them however he wants.
Yeah.
Well, it might blow back on him though, because 2026 isn't that far. I mean, the Democrats could win back the House. I don't think they'll win back the Senate, but maybe. That's rare. But the House, definitely, they could win that back, just like they did in 2018. The economy was doing well because Obama, and then it carried to Trump, and the spending didn't hit us hard yet, but towards the end it did. But in 2018, the economy was doing fine, and they still lost the House because of how bad they govern, and they are like a high school. They all fight with each other, and it's just a nightmare. When he's going to be in office, it's going to be a nightmare every single day. I mean, we're talking about invading. What are we going to do? Did we have to invade your country?
I'm going to have to call you out on this, though. No, he's put reputable, RFK at the FDA. Are you kidding me? I mean, that is a...
Yeah, you're right. Dang, I didn't even think of that.
This has stability written all over it.
Yeah. Vaccinations are overrated. Fuck them.
Some of the greatest minds of the century.
Hey, it takes guys to cut off a whale head and tie it to your car and drive home with the whale head there and the juice dripping on your kids. That takes trust. That's just that just says Trump cabinet all over it.
Yeah.
If RFK stays on board, it's likely there's going to be global outbreak of polio and all these awful diseases that we actually got under control.
Yeah.
They're still there in Africa, Asia, in Southeast Asia, some of the islands in Southeast Asia and the Pacific. There's already outbreaks of measles, polio.
These idiots don't understand that vaccinations create adults. There's nothing wrong with them.
Ooh, that's a good, Well, and I mean, his lawyers filed with the FDA to decertify the polio vaccine for use in the United States of America. Now, that's going to take about 6 months to run through the FDA, but the head of the FDA can fast track it and can even make a decision unilaterally saying approve or disapprove. So what happens is if he becomes the head of the FDA, he's already got the decertification process started, and he just says, approve it, boom, done. Now, actually, in this case, this means no state could legally do it. So this isn't even like we're letting the states decide who gets the vaccine. The FDA has decertified by that point. If that happens, the FDA has decertified the polio vaccine. You can't use it in the U.S. legally.
So there is a positive way you can look at this. There's a positive thing you can take out of this.
What's the positive?
Well, he's trying to restore some endangered species.
Which ones?
It's part of the eugenics program.
The
Because the rich people will have enough money to smuggle in black market vaccines for their kids.
Yeah.
The lower classes won't, and they'll all contract all these nasty diseases and die off.
And
so we're actually
nobody to serve
improving the breed.
Yeah. It's some real, like, if you take the thought process to where it ends, it's some nasty fucking shit, man.
No shit. Yep.
Yeah.
And it's not a very long ride either.
No, you could do it in a term.
May I remind you that he used to shoot up heroin, this guy.
Yeah.
RFK.
Yeah.
Yep.
Is that where he got his worm from?
Probably. That ate his brain.
Well, first of all, look, I'm not sure how much of his brain it ate, so I think we have to we have to reserve some skepticism for that. Second of all, I'm not convinced that the worm isn't the one in charge, despite being dead.
And the worm ate into his brain.
How did he get this worm, and how did he get rid of it? Supposedly,
he didn't. It's still in his brain. It's dead. It's he got it. Probably
it's maybe populated.
Are we talking about pink or I'm confused now.
We're just not collecting dead bear carcasses.
He ate fruit or something that had it's a parasitic worm in it, and it apparently took one bite of his brain. Well, it took one bite of his brain. It was just like, and then the thing just died. He didn't even treat it. It just died on its own, trying to feed off his brain.
Yeah.
Right.
It discovered it years later.
There's no neural energy to feed off of. I'm dying.
Biggest mistake of that worm's life was finding RFK.
I mean, these are the things you pick up with global travel, right? You pick them up if you wear bare feet in Asia or Africa, or if you
vaccinate.
And if you've got no medicine, you can end up with these things at the back of your eye, and they'll eat your eye, or you give them your brain, they eat your brain. And that's why we have good medicine, right? But some people don't learn, apparently.
It's hard to learn with a worm in your brain, admittedly. Let's give him that credit, at least. If a worm has eaten some of his brain, his learning capacity may have been hindered some. I mean, at least he's got an excuse as opposed to Elon and Trump.
Let me jump in here, everybody. We got a couple of shout outs that have been waiting a while here. So let me hit some applause for everybody. We got UTV and Ham in the chat, gifted out a membership and gifted out a second membership. Big thanks, UTV and Ham. We love gifted memberships. Johnny Negregard came in with Norwegian Kroners, 22 of them as well. Hello, community. Big heart. Slava Ukraine. Heroam Slava. Good shout, buddy. Ronnie Brankin came in with a $10 euro one here. No sleep, chill. Brooklyn. Yeah, great track. The scores are not closed still. The scores? Is that a typo? I think Ronnie's going to get some drinks. I would be right now. Thanks, Ronnie. We got Judezilla Music coming in with a $50 super chat, or £50 super chat, that is. You were all such an awesome bunch. Fuck the orcs and norks. Slava Ukraini with love from the UK.
Norks.
Awesome. Hero Slava, buddy. Huge shout to Juzilla Music. That was a big one. And Petra Olsen came in to round us out with Cerritos Kronas, 129 of them with as well, with love to Ukraine. And with all the love we have, it goes into the pot. Thanks, everybody. We're caught up.
Dick, where are we at on the overall Cars for Ukraine fundraiser?
Overall, I got to figure out how to bring that link up. 1 second here. I bet I can do this. Is it this one?
In the meantime, here's a tip. Eat lots of garlic because that's supposed to deworm you in case from the fear.
Deworm you.
Very good for you.
A crazy statement.
I remember when my biggest fear was Christian Zionists, which still is a fear because they're still trying to end the world. But now it's like, no, it's Elon Musk basically trying to wipe out the poor by getting rid of vaccines, Elon Musk. And it's just like, there's always somebody trying to just commit mass genocide. From the United States, no less. But
the thing is, a lot of people used to love Elon Musk, but right now people, even MAGA, is starting to see, a lot of people are starting to hate him and see that he is the actual Antichrist, which I think he is. But it's good. I think that people are opening their eyes that he's not all. It's crazy.
Yeah. So here, I got it. The fundraiser in its entirety is at 117,502 euros.
So we should close that 12th truck today.
It seems it.
And then we've got 3 days to New Year to buy the next 3 trucks, and I think we're going to do it. I think this teamwork.
We just hit 2,400 on ours. Thank you, everybody.
Hey, Chad, I got ours pinned in the chat now, so you can click the link in the chat to look at ours too.
Cool.
You're going well. You've put a bit of a bomb under yours recently too, Andrew.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we put some fire in them. Had to tell them we can't. We had the least amount of donors, but thanks to Bill from Alberta, we bought that truck right away. So, I mean, one guy
Brother drops 10K on the spot, man. What the hell?
So we had some work to do. We had to step up.
That was impressive. Merck's like, yeah, okay, I'm in. Okay, there's a truck. What? He only had a donation, dude. What's going on? You know,
we can get cocky on something like that and then forget to ramp up the troops.
Yeah. You know.
Yeah, what a great guy.
That was awesome.
So I've been following the Mikado Christmas because it's been quite hilarious from the Australian point of view, where we go to the beach. We've lost you. You're on mute. Andrew, you're on mute. I want to know about this ice fishing thing that you did. Seems like you just go out somewhere really cold with a chainsaw, cut up nature, sit there with your dad under a little humpy, get freezing cold, probably pissed, and come back with a fish. Is that all it is?
You don't freeze though. You have a heater in there. Yeah, ice house.
You don't cut up nature. I mean, you're cutting ice that's going to refreeze. It's not.
Yeah.
I mean,
that ice could have had a future.
The hostility I'm sensing in here is just a little elevated. I'm
not at all.
Or jealousy because they can't ice fish.
That's what it is.
Like that here.
Yeah.
But at least it's not Australian ice, which would probably try to kill you.
If you're
probably
some venomous
dry
way. Yeah. But ice fishing, if you go alone, you're truly into fishing. If you go with others, it's all about the camaraderie, sitting in the hut, having a few drinks, chatting and whatnot. It's just like a bonfire, right? That's what
you're all suffering so badly that you have to become friends, because there's basically outside of that, or you're paying attention to the pain.
Is that what's happening on this stream?
I'm familiar with the experience. Yes.
Or has anybody had an argument in this little ice hut and pushed their friend down the hole?
Oh, it's not that big of a hole. The hole's like.
Yeah.
Whoa.
I'll say if you ever go ice fishing and the hole is big enough to put a human body in, you probably went with the wrong people.
Yeah. And you don't know why it's if you don't know why it's that big, it's for you.
Yeah, exactly. If you're the only one confused, get the hell out of there.
Oh dear.
We're going for really big
Ice
fish
fishing was
today,
fun.
Bob.
No. Ice
I
fishing.
Just looked amazing.
I've only ever gone fishing like twice. And the second time, I think I was 5 years old or something. And I caught this weird looking flounder fish. And I was like, nah, I'm not into this, man. And it just doesn't work for me. I'm going to have to learn now.
What else is there to do in Canada besides hockey, beer, and fishing?
YouTube, it turns out.
And guard the maple syrup. They actually have a maple syrup. What is it? Strategic reserve. It's a strategic reserve of maple syrup.
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh.
Yeah.
So they bank maple syrup effectively.
It's a really cool process to make maple syrup. I've been to a couple of those maple syrup farms in Canada. But I wanted to ask Dick, how does Canada feel about becoming 51st state of
that's a good question.
Your take?
Here. There's this answer. There's this one as it pertains to our new leader in the 51st state.
Could it be Satan?
And there's I've as a musician, I've been all over North America, right? And I've lived in every Canadian province pretty much that there is. And over my life, never once have I heard an actual real born and raised Canadian say, you know what? It'd be so amazing if we were the 51st state. What do
you mean?
And it would be interesting because that one state would be bigger than all the others combined. So that's kind of odd, right?
That's why we'll only get 2 senators.
So all of Canada is 51st state, huh?
We're going to make you a province.
In my 10 years of growing up in Canada, it's been a lot of making fun of Americans, if anything. I don't think I know anyone that's like, I want to be American.
No.
At all. But
to be honest, Dick.
Who was it? Larry. He said that half of Canadians want to become American all of a sudden. And I was like, that's
about right. Yeah. It's jealousy. They're laughing at us because of jealousy. That's what it is.
So I have a content strategy, and I'm going to go up to anyone that's actually supportive of Canada becoming the 51st state. I'm going to ask me to name all of the Canadian provinces and where they're at. And tell me. And I bet you not a single person will.
Which is what qualifies them to be American. No, how many Americans can name all 50 states? I mean, give me a break.
Yeah, but we only have 10 provinces, and that's still going to pose an issue. This is the sad part of it.
Will it be 10 more states, or will it be just one blob that just
Does Greenland get to be the 52nd state?
The state's name is Canada.
That northern blob.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The guys with the water, I don't know. They're up there somewhere.
Okay,
because Greenland is going to get purchased, right? But does Canada get any money out of this? You get all of this.
I think it's Denmark.
Yeah, we don't have anything to do with it, I don't think.
It's Denmark.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
they already, I think the PM already said no, we're not doing that.
Some Americans.
That was the short version of what he said.
He said more than that, but I try to keep it nice.
Yeah, Merck gave a paraphrase. No, dude, we ain't into it.
It's ridiculous
because Greenland's on the verge of actually getting a great deal of autonomy, if not complete independence, from Denmark.
Wow. That'll be awesome for like 700 people. I mean, how many people live there? Maybe like 1,000 or something?
It's more than that. It's, I think, like 250,000 or something.
Oh, wow. Oh, I thought it was just like, a town and, a few farms or something.
Now imagine what an American thinks. They probably think nothing.
There are a lot of settlements along the coast.
Greenland is actually already part of the United States. I saw because Trump put up a map and he made it by marker. So you can actually use a marker to make another country yours. So he just wrote it out and said USA.
And you can use markers to control the weather.
Yeah,
exactly.
That's it,
It's the same marker. It's a pretty impressive marker. I think that marker should be president. It would certainly be smarter than Trump. But nonetheless, it's now part of the U.S. It's a remarkable thing.
So I just asked ChatGPT how many people live in Greenland, and it's 56,000. And the capital is Nuuk, and it's the largest city, and it's about 20,000 residents in the largest city.
Wow.
And every single one of them.
Every day.
Huh. All right.
Learn something new.
Yeah.
Damn.
All right. So legit question. What's going on with the tariffs? Trudeau was really pissed about really pissed, and for very good reason.
Oh yeah.
Trump is still planning on doing them. Last I heard, has there been any forward progress anywhere? No. We've been talking so much about Musk. I was just like, wasn't there tariffs that were about to decimate the Canadian economy?
Musk is our president. Trump is like.
There's some serious concern in some industries up here for sure, but the idea is it also goes the other way, so we can retaliate in kind and balance the books and just simply screw our citizens over. Is that the best option? I think we could do better,
Well, we can't.
Yeah, right, but we've had a whole thing where Freeland or whatever resigned and blah blah, and like it's having an effect in government, but it's also being used by our hardline writers to be, you see, this guy's an idiot, we got to get this government out and blah blah, and it's just being used to sow division where it doesn't really need to be. It's become a political tool in a bad way. It's stupid.
That's his purpose then. That's it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Trump knows that this is going to unite the right up here, and as such, maybe he can get enough of a foot forward that we get enough morons thinking like that to then have an aligned government where everybody's getting screwed, right?
Well, and then he ends up not doing it and saying, "But I got X, Y, and Z out of it, so this is how I won the deal. We didn't have to pay anything. They gave us what we wanted, either on the fentanyl or whatever. It's going to be a token thing." And then he walks away saying, "I won," and people believe him.
Yeah. Yep. That fentanyl thing, that one blows me away, because our statistics up here tell us that a lot of fentanyl is coming up.
Well, that's the thing. Hold on a second, because I had the fentanyl numbers, because once you account for RFK and his fentanyl use, then the numbers are cut down by like half.
Yeah.
This is what I don't understand about fentanyl, because it's not like you grow fentanyl, is it? It's made completely in a lab. It could be made anywhere.
That's the whole thing. I know.
It doesn't have to be exported, because of the fentanyl plants in Canada are growing really nicely this year.
I have no idea. Perhaps I'd be very curious to know. I know nothing about it. I assume maybe there's danger in the process or something, but apparently we don't have the labs doing it here. The most of the labs end up being in Canada for some reason.
Maybe that's something Trump should work on.
Well, but this is how it works. A lot of the ingredients needed get brought through. It'll get made up here and brought back down. And a lot of the people up here doing the making, when there's a bust or something and this and that, are usually people with names I couldn't pronounce to save my fucking life. And I'm pretty sure they don't have Canadian birth certificates. And so that comes into this immigration play. But did they get here through us, through you guys down? You go across the Canadian-American border, and there is so many places where I can just simply grab a backpack and a water bottle and walk into the United States, man. Yeah. I used to live right by one. It's ridiculous,
PJ CNET just gave the answer. He said the main ingredient is maple syrup. So that's why it's Canada.
Yeah, Dick. I've done it many times in northern Minnesota. I mean, it's. I do it for fun because like, I'd be like, hey, look at the cell data has changed to Canada now, and we're like in Canada.
Yeah.
Like, there's the control, but if you just go a little like a mile east, you can just cross right in.
Yeah, we did it
Canada,
once.
I guess.
We did it once by accident out on three-wheelers and quads. And we were just down by where I live here, but like an hour south. And all of a sudden, these trucks came at us and they're like, yeah, guys, you've been south of the border for about an hour now. And we figured we might as well tell you to go the fuck home. But they knew us because we all lived by the border, right? It was no big deal. Nobody cared, right? But it was crazy.
No, you didn't have any militia groups show up and
Yeah.
Well,
I was going to ask you though, Dick. With this rhetoric about Canada being the 51st state, and does the Commonwealth of Nations, does the king and queen or the monarch would they have any power to be like, what is this? Or
I have no idea.
You can't take one of our Commonwealth nations, or I genuinely asking.
That's not how it works. As I understand, all we do is just chip a little bit in to make sure that who's ever sitting on the throne has a comfy life, right?
Then you get nothing in return.
It's a trade block. It's a trade block.
Trademark.
They actually have some power in Australian politics because they can destroy a government, but it's a trade block as far as the Commonwealth goes.
What a bad deal.
Yeah, they get reduced customs fees basically if you're inside the Commonwealth.
So if you like trade within other Commonwealth nations, you get a break there. Okay.
Yeah, King Chuckles says. Yeah, King Chuckles says it's okay. Go ahead.
Yeah, so the U.S. was like, we're taking Canada, and then they would just have to be like, whatever. I guess one of our Commonwealth nations, United States.
Maybe you're after a king. Maybe you're after a poor old king who's not feeling so well these days. But then we've got our, the lovely Will's coming on, and his wife's not feeling so well either. But they're a glamour couple. Maybe that's what you're after. You're going to steal into the Commonwealth.
No, but the U.S. is not interested in that much. That's one of the few things we all pretty much agree on. We don't like royalty. We say that.
No, they do. They do when they're tourists.
Visiting
Britain.
Tourists are money.
The whole Kennedy thing was a royalty thing, wasn't it?
Well, that actually was. That was our brief flirt with royalty, and you saw what happened there.
I think you're about to have a second, but
yeah, they want a king. And certain parts of Americans do, not all of us, but yeah, there's some Americans that would accept Trump if he was like, "I'm king now." They'd be like,
"Oh well, yeah." Well, Trump. But there's some Americans who think he's Jesus. I mean, again, I'm not kidding. So
yes,
that's very true. My God,
Jeebus eats at McDonald's.
Yeah, supply side Jesus does.
I love what Barack Obama said at the correspondence dinner when he was talking about Michelle Bachmann, who had said that having him as president was the coming sign of the end times. And he said, well, there you go. If I'm coming sign of the end times, then that's a legacy, Washington, Lincoln, they didn't do that.
Ending the world.
What an answer.
That's funny.
Oh.
All right, I'm going to need to get going, guys. Thank you very much. It was a marvelous time.
I do too as well. So thank you, Dick and Nick and everyone, and Commander, Slavi, Claire, Dunk. It was a pleasure.
All right, guys, take it easy. See you soon. Thanks for
you
joining us, everybody.
Absolutely.
Toodle pips.
All right. Okay, here. I'll reorganize some windows in the back. 1 second here. I can count. Yeah, okay. There we go. Oh, so where else do we go now? What do you think?
Well, we had a bit of a philosophical on our chat group, our fundraiser chat group this morning, about when do you draw the line about who you get to raise funds? If their politics if they've ever said anything in their life that's not pro-Ukraine, do you allow them to help you raise funds? It's a bit like in the old days when you're setting up your superannuation fund. Do you invest in cigarettes and big oil and ammunition? Whereas, there are whole superannuation funds that avoid some of that dirty investment. And it was a bit like a conversation about that. And it's not something as a fundraiser that I really want to make that choice for people, but people were imposing it this morning. And it was a really interesting concept of when do you draw the line with fundraising? Dunk's talking, but he's muted. Or maybe he's not talking.
Yeah, he could be just,
Mouthing.
having a cartoon stroke.
Just having a stroke, yeah.
So let me make sure I'm clear here. So the question, the concern is
philosophical. Let's be very philosophical about it, not name names, but the whole philosophy is, do you take a moral stand when you're a fundraiser about who you will fundraise with?
I think there's probably, in my view, a case that there is an extreme when you'd be like, that's one step too far for me. But for the most part, if the cause is just and good, does it matter? That's a tough one.
Money's coming from. It is tough, and some, the Ukrainians might feel very emotional about it too. What do you think, Slavi? As a Ukrainian, do you take a moral stand on who's allowed to give you money, or do you just go, no, I'm in it for the money? Because the money helps the soldiers, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say, it doesn't matter who's giving money, and if they are giving money, great. It's going to a most important cause, I think, at least for me. So I think if that's your question.
Yeah,
so
pretty much.
It's less a question of who you're putting the money together for as opposed to with.
Yeah, it's not about who for. The for is the soldiers at the front, right? That's agreed. Right. But it's people were saying privately to me, I will not go on a fundraiser with this other person, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
So, and yet that person might be a very active fundraiser for whatever reason, but have said some things that politically don't sit well with other people. And I go, God, I don't know how to even negotiate this as a kind of team organizer, head cat herder.
That would beg the question of whether or not there's some question about the ethical allocation of the monies by said person. So in other words, if they were siphoning off a percentage for themselves as opposed to what's going to the cause.
No, they can't, because in our case, CAF Ukraine accumulates all the money.
Link to donor box, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So there's no question.
Isn't kind of what you're saying is like, say, just imagine that there's like a billionaire out there, and they made their billions through the slave trade, and but then they donate like a large section of their profits to your cause. That's kind of like a moral question you're considering?
That's it. That's the one. So is it better to collect the money from said billionaire who's collected his money from the slave trade, or to shun him? What's the most, what's your power move?
This is flipped for me. So are we talking about the people who donate or people who fundraise?
Well, say you, Dick, were a slave trader, and there were people saying, well, I'm not going to go on a campaign with Dick.
So we're not talking about the individual donators. We're talking about the people fundraising, right? So, So here, there's an unconsidered element to this that I think does help. I'm not going to say justify, but make it so that people can understand where this behavior might come from. The idea is Ukraine wins and gets the money it needs to rebuild, and the world keeps turning. You've got a bunch of YouTube creators who want to be YouTube creators. They don't want this to end at the end of Ukraine. And as such, there gets to be this thing where I'm not sure I can be seen with that person because they said where my audience believes and so on. And there are some division lines there that actually make sense. But when they're personal and they don't matter in so much as it pertains to growing your YouTube channel and your presence and stuff, then that's more the iffy decision for me. If somebody's doing it based on algorithms and YouTube presence and stuff, I'm not sure I can fault them for that thinking. But if they're doing it just on a purely personal level, then yes, I would apply some, maybe your compass needs a slight adjustment because it doesn't have to be that way. So for me, this is a multifaceted thing that is not just a black and white situation. Although I do wish it was black and white. Shut up, stop whining, and get together and fundraise. It's just simply not that simple sometimes, and it sucks.
No,
but
not. It's not. It's and obviously there's a lot more emotion from the Ukrainian side about these topics than we can relate to.
Well, speaking of which, imagine a Ukrainian and they're like, so there's 3 creators that don't get along, and if they did, we would have a better fundraiser. Well, that sucks for us, right? I mean, I'm right. I can only imagine, so
So I think we can name the Kyiv Post. So the Kyiv Post seems to have questionable politics because in the beginning there was this big split between the Kyiv Post and then some of the journalists went with the Kyiv Independent, I think, was it? Am I right about my newspapers? And
I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think there was a big scandal right at the beginning of the war where they were, I don't know, maybe they took a pro-Putin point of view. I don't know. I can't remember, but there was a big split in the Kyiv Post, and some of the journalists went with the Kyiv Independent to get a more independent point of view out there. But, if you've got people who are prepared to share your fundraiser and they're quite prominent in the Kyiv Post, do you allow them to share your fundraiser and raise money for you? And I think, well, in that case, I do. I haven't seen anything recently that's really derogatory about the Kyiv Post, but there was kickback about that this morning too in the group. So anyway, it's just really interesting, and it's a bit of a minefield, I must say, but I find any philosophical discussion interesting. Commander Macmillan, you'll know something. You're looking it up for us. I can see.
No, I'm doing something else.
Okay.
I'll give an example which is very controversial, so bear with me when I say this.
Cool. We love controversy.
Yeah.
Speak for yourself.
There were some concerns and complaints initially in the war that certain factions within the not Ukrainian army, but some of the paramilitaries that had been fighting in the Luhansk and Donetsk regions had profoundly pro-Nazi, anti-Semitic views, which was attracting some support from alt-right white supremacist groups here in the US. So the question then becomes, if you start getting a white supremacist group trying to raise funds specifically for units that they have identified in the Ukrainian paramilitary as being of like political mind, are those people you want to pair with?
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Fucking not. And there's no way I could, even though they're doing the right. There's no way, right? Yeah.
Right. That's why I'm bringing it up, is you can come up with situations where it becomes obvious that, no, you don't want to be working with this person, even if the money's going to a cause that you support.
Yeah.
But by and large, I would say those are very much the exceptions to the rule.
Yeah. And an extreme situation that's good, not, for sure.
It's one of the situations where if you look even at it with your peripheral vision, you see the large flashing neon light saying, "Danger, Will Robinson."
Yes. Yeah.
And I might not be aware of who these personalities are, but, somebody from Ukraine is fully aware because they're getting a different sort of information stream to me, and I come on board with some awful character, and then all hell breaks loose. Anyway,
yeah.
I
I
actually
need to
had
reach
a
out for advice
situation.
more often, perhaps. Sorry, Slavi.
Yeah, I had a situation where this American Nazi guy, he really wanted to go fight in Ukraine because he heard that Ukrainians are Nazis. And I tried to explain to him it's not like that, but he was like, no, you guys, like, you think you have the same politics, you guys think like us, like we do. And I'm like, we really don't. If you want to go fight for Ukraine, go, but you're gonna be surprised that it's not like that. But he was just convinced.
Wow.
And, I mean,
Bubba, your head, your ass, disconnect the two.
it was really tough situation as well, because I know Ukraine needs fighters and soldiers.
Yeah.
And he was really excited. He was like, I really want to go kill some Russians. And I'm like, well, that's great, but
they're all commies.
Well, the whole ethics of the International Legion is, well, maybe not the ethics, but the International Legion is a really complex sort of story, because they've basically been cut off by their home country for going to fight in Ukraine, even though we're all there to fight in Ukraine and we're providing armaments. We don't want to drain our own armies by making these guys look like heroes. So they get no support from home.
Yeah.
And they're not getting that much support from Ukraine, because Ukraine says they haven't got the full heart in it. And the personalities that are in the International Legion, you've got such a mix of personalities. I'm sure there's a lot of them that are there because they really believe in Ukraine and right and wrong, but there's an awful lot of sociopaths. And they're there because they don't fit into their home society. And they're looking for some community somewhere that to build, to live, exist in their personalities. So it's a really complex thing, the International Legion. I just try to stay out of the politics of that, but I'm very aware of it. And I just think it's an interesting one to follow a bit. Have you ever had to deal with International Legions, Commander? Foreign Legion, French Foreign Legion, were you in that?
Indirectly, yeah.
I need to go there to forget.
Yeah, the issue is
The wine.
that the foreign legions of France, Spain, those are part of their national military, and they allow people to come in from foreign countries. And they do a fair job of trying to screen those people before they accept them, so they keep real troublemakers out. When you get a situation like with Ukraine with the International Legions, or equally valid, the various international legions that fought in Spain during the Civil War on the side of the Republic, the screening process gets kind of pushed to the wayside because they're just looking at, we need bodies to throw at the enemy.
Right.
Yeah.
And so then you start getting people of somewhat questionable backgrounds. And yeah, I can see that kind of ends up as a problem. And that's one of the reasons so many countries have rules on the books that say you cannot go serve in a foreign military if you are a citizen of this country. And if you do, you can be prosecuted. Because
I only just learned that recently because of what's going on. I couldn't believe it, but it makes sense when you think about it after, right?
That's, I think, one of the reasons we see so many of the people that we interview here and other streaming services who are in the International Legions, they go to a considerable effort to keep their faces masked and everything, because they don't want to be identified by the home government if they ever have any view of entertaining to return home at the end of the conflict.
Yeah.
And a lot of them are AWOL from their own military.
A lot of them, I think, are actually veterans who served in a military and then were discharged honorably, and then they go. And I know the Ukrainians specifically initially were screening to say only people with a veteran status in a former military service with another country's military were allowed in. Now that's been relaxed, but initially that was the requirement. You had to have already gotten military training. And it makes sense because you don't want to have to set up a whole new training camp to train all these foreign volunteers. But if they already have military backgrounds and know how to do stuff, you can minimize the amount of time you need to devote to training them.
And you also don't like legions of yahoos just like going over there to kick off.
They've had I know they at least initially had problems with that, where any guy with a dream of, I get to go play in war, and you'd get people who were grossly overweight or had mental problems. All of these guys showing up in the Ukrainian military saying, "Go home."
I've played Call of Duty.
And these people, the sociopaths that have gone over there to kill people are going to stay in Ukraine after the war and become a burdensome thing.
Yeah, they're going to have to be filtered out and shipped out because you can't have that during rebuilding. They're going to be a nightmare, right?
I think they're giving citizenship to the Foreign Legion, aren't they? Is that? I think I've read that if you fight for Ukraine, you get citizenship because otherwise you're cut off from medical support if you're injured.
Right.
Maybe that makes sense. But maybe resident status.
Yeah.
Resident status. Yeah. So I think they're going to be, messing around in community. So another philosophical point.
I think it was voluntary. If you complete a term of service, we will offer you citizenship if you want to take it. But it wasn't you must join us now.
Oh, no. But a lot of these guys are, building relationships with Ukrainian women and stuff like that. They're starting families over there while they're fighting, but they're not there. Well, I don't know why they're there, but some of them are really genuine sociopaths. Because from the other end, we get from Kai from Ukraine. I mean, I get on Facebook, just people are starting to realize my name is associated with Cars for Ukraine. So I get requests for vehicles from people who want to send me the most horrendous information, like, here's me murdering an animal to prove my capacity to kill Russians, and I'm going to need a car because I'm over here in Ukraine fighting and killing Russians. And you go, whoa, so give us your bona fides. If you're genuinely killing Russians, do we say, no, you don't get a car because you killed an animal? Right. Or do we say, yeah, you're killing Russians, so we're going to absorb you, and your unit's really doing quite a lot of fighting in a really bad area, and do you get therefore we're going to give you a car. So, it's a philosophical dilemma all the way down the path.
Well, you could just say, well, if you're so fucking hard up, why don't you just steal one?
Well, they do that probably. They're probably doing that from each other, right? But they're all armed up down there on the front. It's not a safe thing to do. But so many philosophicals around this that when I launched into this, I had no idea. Sorry, is this what PubChat's meant to be about?
It's anything you want. Claire, you were talking about the whole YouTube thing with people and tensions and stuff. There was one piece of advice I had for you on that, and I forgot to get it out before we switched over there. But as somebody who's juggled this stuff many times in the past, just let people be who they are and don't worry about it. If somebody doesn't want to hang out with somebody, then you do two, and one person can be on one game. It's just, it doesn't matter. Just doesn't matter. Let them be who they are. It's not like you're going to change them, Well,
no, I don't try to change them. Not at all. No, I don't think that's my position.
Yeah, that was more of a throwaway remark, but there's no way you're going to fix it and get any of these people together. So why bother trying, right?
I know. Yeah, exactly. I wouldn't.
Yeah,
I wouldn't, but I might unknowingly go into end up in that space where suddenly I'm confronted by.
Oh, it will happen, and then somebody will PM you and go, "Oh, by the way, blah blah." Okay, here we go again, and it'll never stop because that's just how social media is, right?
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Drives me crazy, but that's just how it is. I mean, sure, things happen and nothing's perfect in life, but big, massive holding on to it stuff, relax, Anyway, let's see. There was something that we had talked about that I wanted to go back to as well, and I have no memory for it. So I probably shouldn't have interjected.
How's the horse race going? How's our horse race going? Has anyone looked it up?
I've got a couple pages open here. Shills is up to 2464 now.
Oh, you've done a nice big leap. Good job.
And the grand total is...
And PSO1's happily gone to Betty Bars, obviously. He might hit the high life again in the morning for him.
Could be.
Now, would it be immoral for me to put a bet on this horse race and then give you 10% of the winnings?
Absolutely, but more than 10%, I think. At least a whole lot.
No, I'm a greedy bastard.
Because, in our group, we've got a very intense horse race going on between Jonathan Fink and Rick the Ukrainian, who have gone almost dollar for dollar and swapped places and then swapped back, and one's in front, the others. They're very close with what they've raised, and they've been going like this, just trying to outdo each other and get ahead.
Let's settle this like men. Put them into a mud pit and have them wrestle in tiny underwear.
Yeah. Dress them both as Hulk Hogan. Yeah.
I reckon all the way to the bank.
Yeah. Yeah, the grand total is 117,740 euros.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Amazing. What a group. What a fun group it's been. And it's generally been really joyful.
I have a couple of super chat shout outs here to do. So dunk on you. Gifting out 5. Oops. Shills memberships. I think I hit the button 6 times there. Thanks, dunk on you. We love the membership gifts around here. Oh yeah, very much so. And if you got gifted a membership, think about keeping it. Why not? We got Lindsay Rogers in with a super chat here. Vote Grassy Knoll. You know it makes sense. Now, that should have been a campaign. Okay, I vote Grassy Knoll right now. I vote Grassy Knoll.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Lindsay.
We all vote for that right now, don't we?
Yeah. Lindsay's on to something here. So let's see here. So 2028, vote Grassy Knoll.
But I think they had that vote, didn't they? Didn't they have a Grassy Knoll moment and
really?
The dude missed. Trump turned his head.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah. I was thinking because with the golf course one, the guy didn't even get a shot off, and that was more of a Grassy Knoll thing, right?
All right. No, I meant
both of the attempts have enough suspicious stuff behind them. You can't help but wonder if they're false flag events to generate sympathy for him.
Yeah, I heard, why is that doing that to me? I saw one thing on a Reddit post where the guy says, if you look, Trump puts his hand up and then his ear is cut, and he did it to himself. And yeah.
Meanwhile, some dude goes off to jail for life. I don't think that's spiking, really.
Yeah. But
there was a real guy who was shot and killed in that incident. So they weren't exactly firing blanks.
Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. So the other one we could talk about is how good is Finland?
The country where I'd most like to be.
Finland.
Finland's impounded the dead, the only one to have, out of all 4 attacks on those underwater cables. Finland finally arrested one ship and, going to take control of the narrative here. So, nobody else has managed that, despite.
Finland's been great dealing with Russians. If anything, I mean, they border Russia, so they know what they're, excuse me, they know what they're doing. And I mean, their Russians are also fucking with their cables to their, connection and But Finland is the newest
long history of dealing with Russian interference.
Yeah, and Finland is the newest member of NATO, and they, are really the most effective out of all the NATO members to deal with the Russians, which is great.
Yeah, no, it's great to have them in NATO and doing what they do best, which is, controlling that big border. They've got a big border like Canada, USA, right?
Yeah.
So Canada needs to note what the Finns do, which is to put up a big fence and guard it.
Yeah, I mean, they've been doing good stuff and with that border. So I remember they had some bizarre stories about animals crossing over that border, and obviously Russians tried to create some problems there and to like charge them or something. It was really bizarre, and Finns they're just don't take it.
Well, they're checking reindeer for passports.
Something like that. The animals were eating like Russian grass or something, or flowers.
Yeah, and they were trying to charge them for it.
Yeah, exactly.
That's brilliant. I love it.
Straight onto our side of the border and ate 2 whole flowers. You owe us $1 million.
That's brilliant. I love it.
Or rather, bajillion, like they charged Google.
Idiots.
Oh, that was hilarious. That whole thing. I wonder what the accounts department in Google thought about that when whatever, dude. We're not paying it.
Yeah. You want us to pay more money than the world has? That's an interesting thought.
That was so bizarre, that story. God.
Maybe Google should invade Russia.
They can afford it.
Yeah. I watched a movie about a guy who was working behind the lines during World War II up in from Finland, and he was over on what was then the Nazi side of the border, and he got found out and he had to get back, and he was really badly injured, and this journey out of the Nazi area, which is now Russia, back over to Finland was quite a long, protracted story. And apparently it's a true story. And they ended up in a sled pulled by reindeer. And so it was a bit like a dog sled race. And the Russians were shooting at them, but the Sami people were running their reindeer across the border, which they had permission to do at that time. And they had the whole herd, but one of their strongest reindeer was pulling this sled, and the reindeer were going flat out, and this guy's just flying around in this sled. I mean, if you weren't injured, it'd be such an incredible ride, but it was so hair-raising to watch this high-speed chase to get across the border with the Nazis all shooting at this guy in the sled, and all the reindeer are all around and running flat out, and the Sami are on skis attached with ropes attached to the reindeer, and they're going as fast as the reindeer, but they're on skis while this guy's in a sled. God, it was a hot scene.
It sounds like a great Christmas movie.
It should star Kurt Russell, I think.
Jingle all the way to Finland.
Exactly.
A couple of shout outs I can do here. Darren Vaughn came in twice with a super chat, and there's no message. So Darren, tag me in the live chat and I'll shout something out for you there. Big thanks, man. There's a double shot of them. And then we got Darren Vaughn with the third one. This could be the message. So he says, Slavy is too hot. Merchandise. It's just, we had a show the other day where we talked about how you can buy sex toys at Walmart. Okay. Just
what? Consumer advice.
Yeah. Now, a shout out that we have to make here while talking about Slavy. She's just like, please don't do that to me again. She's 70 subs away from hitting the mark. So let's get the link in the live chat, and every single one of you get over there and sub the channel. We can find out where you live. I will know if you've clicked that button. So do it, and don't make
tell you
me
what,
angry.
After the show, I'm going to dig out my sock accounts.
Is that the special drawer you don't let your wife in?
Yeah,
is that where they are?
The special socks.
Yeah.
No, I'm not doing that to Slavy, you dirty bastard.
So thanks everybody, big thanks, and go and sub.
Yes, please so much, and don't forget to watch my latest holiday special video. It's been out for Christmas, and
what you did a review of the Star Wars holiday special?
I did. That too. Actually, I do mention the mystery drones in New Jersey. There's a segment on that. Covers so much.
Oh, that story is a hoot. I love that story. It's so ridiculous.
You know, I know what that is. That's that Mike the Situation from Jersey Shore. He's got a drone up looking for his career because he can't find it.
Well,
I'm laughing. I don't even know who he is.
I have to say bye-bye and love to you all. Bye-bye and love to you all. I've got
She's
a
back
lunch
to the
break.
beach. She's back to the beach again.
Lunchtime here. And see you all in the new year.
All right, Claire, take care. See you soon. Happy New Year.
Three trucks, 3 days, guys.
Nice.
We've got to do it. Close it by New Year. See you later.
Yeah.
Wow.
We'll see you in the nude year.
How do I get off here?
There's a button somewhere at the bottom. It's red.
Oh, yeah, there it is.
Yeah.
Oh, well, the NFL was going to copyright strike that one as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was the New England Patriots versus the Denver Broncos because somebody said goodbye on our channel. So I'm sure the NFL has copyright struck us right now. If it's Slavy Commander, if you don't know what I'm talking about, our Christmas Eve stream was copyright claimed by the NFL, the National Football League, because we showed coverage of the Denver Broncos and the New England Patriots. And the timestamp that they gave that's why they claimed us was when David Worley, the British guy, was saying goodbye and leaving the stream. That's all it was.
What was the copyright though?
They're saying we showed their footage of the football game.
And you didn't.
No, we don't even talk about football except until this happened. Nobody here likes it. I mean, we don't care, you know.
That's so strange.
Yeah, we're still fighting it. They won't let the claim go yet. It's ridiculous. It's unbelievable. You know, and YouTube, they, you know, because it's the NFL, they don't give a shit what we say. We just got to sit and wait, you know. We just had the same thing happen. Some moron just put out a video, the 25 most intense video or UFO encounters, and he made like a movie out of it. And it got to, it's in the YouTube movie feed. Now, in this video he made, he used the same footage that we used like 3 years ago on the intro of PubChat. And it's an open source, free to use public domain render of a satellite being launched. We used it over 3 years ago. He only just put it out on his little video, and we got 38 copyright strikes or claims, not strikes, but claims, because we used his footage, even though he used it over 3 years after we did. But because he's in the YouTube movie system, he gets the benefit of the doubt, and we're the liars.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. Now, as soon as I filed the counterclaims, they released them as fast as I could file them. The company behind that, or the person, whatever, were at least honest about it, right? But this is the problem with the YouTube content match system. As soon as he was put into YouTube movies, his whole creation was considered his property, even though it's not. Like, he was using footage from NASA, public domain footage. Other people are going to get claims because they used that footage. What a nightmare, right? What a nightmare.
Could we make a movie about ancient aliens and then put that into the YouTube movies and then copyright claim all ancient aliens?
Yeah, sue Giorgio Tsoukalos within an inch of his life.
It's a parody documentary about ancient aliens.
Yeah.
That's fair use.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, it's ridiculous, right? We get so screwed, man. It's unbelievable. It's our content. We made it first. How can this? You wonder why I drink? Just
well, we didn't make it first. We stole it first.
No, we were given permission first. Is actually how it works. Yeah.
You got a license for it, right? Or
well, the dude who made the render put it up as free to use, no copyright. In the comments, I asked him specifically if we could use it in our intro, and he said, yes, go ahead, no problem. I have that saved, and he has since removed the video from his channel. It's not even there. So he's not even there to say, no, actually, I made it first, assholes, right? And but we were first by 3 years. How can we be the thief? It doesn't make any sense. That's like somebody starts building a new bank in your town and you rob it before it's built.
Oh, what a brilliant concept.
Yeah, right. That's I mean, what? I'll stop bitching, but yeah, fun. Oh yeah. So, anybody got plans for New Year's? What's everybody up to and stuff? My son is being commandeered by his mother and grandmother and that side of the family. So I will be on YouTube. There will be a Shills
New Year's Eve special.
Yeah. We're going to be doing and it's going to be timed for us Pacific Coast people.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So we don't have to start at 2 p.m. going, I'm going to be so drunk at the end of this fucking night.
I think it's the best time to ring in the new year because we're pretty much the last ones.
Yeah. So we'll time it out so that we can stay awake to let Hawaii celebrate and then go, all right, we're done. And then, kill it off. But yeah.
Yep.
And we're going to do one of those streams that we used to do where YouTube wants to play with us with copyright. I'll show you how to violate copyright. And we're going to play commercial music and we're going to pretend like we're a radio station that night. And during the stream, we'll get taken down. But then when I stop playing the song, it'll go back up. So we go, that band's off the list and we move on to the next one. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
You got to make sure you got an NFL game playing in the background.
New Year's with a vengeance.
All three major sports groups, so have both an NBA, MLB, and NFL game playing in the background. Three separate TVs.
Yeah. That's what we'll do. We'll put that down in the bottom of the channel, just like small TVs, right?
Yeah. Okay, I got to roll, dudes. I'm sorry.
All right, buddy. See you soon, Commander. Take care, buddy.
Never be sorry. Never apologize.
See, it just proves everybody's got a little Canadian in them.
That's right.
What's his name?
Yeah. No, we don't give out that kind of information here.
It's going to buy me dinner first.
Okay. So what do we got here? We're an hour 45 live. I'm not too rushed, but there is a little gathering in the cul-de-sac after for a few of the adults. I'll probably join. So
a gathering. You make it sound like some kind of wizardry or some kind of what is it? Some
we're going to get together and boil children.
Sacrifice.
Yeah.
I think it was the cul-de-sac for me, a gathering in cul-de-sac.
Yeah. But a couple of the parents up around the corner have decided that they don't want to have fun. So the children are being sent up to that corner of the townhouse complex. And then the corner that I live in is being turned into a little party zone tonight. Yeah.
Get wild.
Yeah, there'll be like sex in the halls and all kinds of weird. No, I don't know,
Yeah,
but
not about the kids, what the adults doing.
Yeah. But I got to pop in, say hi at least and everything. I'm not overly social, but I should try a little. I need a rolling paper and there's not one in front of me. So hold on a second.
What? It's not one in front of me. I'm just going to run across the border. I was going to nip down to the United States, grab a rolling paper. What do you mean there's not one in front of you?
You know, just about to kill a tree or whatever those rolling papers are made of.
He's got like a single rolling paper dispenser in his kitchen.
Yeah.
That'd be awesome. I managed to get a cute little bar fridge, so maybe I could get a dispenser, right? You know,
that'd be cool. Box.
Don't ruin it. It was so cool for a second there. Now, you know. Yeah, if somebody wants to engineer and 3D print me a rolling paper dispenser machine, that would be awesome.
Yeah, isn't a rolling paper dispenser machine a packet of rolling papers?
And a human hand. Yeah.
Isn't it a printer then?
Sorry?
Isn't it would be just a printer?
Yeah, you can't 3D print rolling papers, and it doesn't work.
Well, no, you wouldn't 3D print them. What you would need is really thin paper and one of those plotter cutter printers, so it could just simply, you know, right? And
yeah, I'll send you a PDF.
Yeah,
you can print it out on A4.
Yeah, but how do you print the glue strip?
I'm going to let you use your adult imagination on that one. I'm not going to say anything. There are certain natural glues that could be used.
Oh man,
Larry, cover your ears.
Yeah. Hold on a second here.
Welcome to the real pub chat.
Hey, did we get any subs over to Slavy's channel? What's the count now?
Yeah. At 933.
Oh, that's not enough. Come on, people, get over there and sub. What the hell's wrong with you?
Oh, sorry, 36.
Oh, okay. Right. So 3 less people to yell at. What's the problem with the rest of you? Come on. Let's do it.
YouTube, is it pretty active during the holidays, YouTube?
I know
it's yes and no.
Yeah.
Because I would say it's pretty active because there's a lot of people out there who not being unkind, but just got nothing better to do.
Yeah.
They don't have family around. They don't have family around. They're on their own, and they go looking for some kind of friendship, just communication with human beings. There's a lot of that happens, but then there are other sides of YouTube that kind of like shut down because the
ad revenue goes down, even though the viewers don't seem to really go down for the most part, because people on YouTube are people on YouTube. I mean, if you're a 12-year-old that watches YouTube and you're at grandma's for Christmas supper, tell me you're not sitting on the couch afterwards watching YouTube. You're going to sit there and listen to those same stories over and over again. We all went through that.
It's also children's content. I feel like that's a lot different than content made.
But for us, our channel is more older. Like our viewers are more my age, right? And as such, everybody's already told their children to fuck off and whatnot. And there's a lot of people that just have nothing to do, I mean, how many times can you bail your son out of jail before you're sick of it, right?
Don't know. You still got those years to come.
Yeah. Well, I lived through them on the other end too. So
you were that son.
Yeah. Yeah, but we'll leave that and move on. Here we go.
Go.
And now for something completely different.
just when it was starting to get interesting.
Yeah, don't even try. I'm not that drunk.
The stories of Dawson.
Yeah, no, that takes more beer than I've had. Not happening. So anything else we should cover, or anything else? What grinds my what grinds my gears? What grinds your gears? What's that from? Is that Family Guy? He got on the news for a bit and he was doing a segment? You know what grinds my gears? Is that Family Guy?
It could be. Yeah.
I can't remember. I barely watch Family Guy, so I don't really know.
Yeah. It's a cultural reference. It's probably the worst one for you to make. Was it ever on South Park in any shape or form?
Yeah. No, it's not South Park.
Well, I know it's not South Park, but if it was on South Park, then you could actually abused it, but you can't.
If it was on South Park, I would have known it, right? Instead of just stumbling through. Yeah, a few people are saying, yeah.
Was it the wonderful, wonderful world of Disney?
You know how little Disney I watched as a child? You know, when I was growing up, Disney was always just a little too...
Okay.
Just a little too safe. You know, I always wanted something
safe. They were kicking those fucking lemons off the cliff. What are you talking about safe?
yeah.
They were firing off the cliff with all about drugs.
Yeah, enslaving midgets and all kinds of things. You know, yeah.
Mm.
But
I would say perspective, how you look at Disney.
Yeah.
I used to remember the Disney. Because the TV show that used to come on every Saturday, and sometimes it would be like the crazy duck, whatever his name was, the uncle, and he got the nephews and all that kind of stuff. It would be like a cartoon or something, and then sometimes it would be like a wildlife story. And as soon as the wildlife story it comes on, it's like, oh god.
That's the stuff I liked better, actually.
But they were all fake. I mean, I don't get me wrong. I love nature documentaries and stuff. But these days, because they're just like, when they're done well, they're amazing.
Yeah.
But back then, it was just like shot on a telephoto lens, just like looking into the distance. As an adult, the photography was pretty poor. But for the time, it was amazing. But I just switched off as soon as that came on. It's like, I want the cartoons.
Yeah, I was when it comes to like when I was young in the Disney cartoons, I was much more into like Warner Brothers stuff and Hanna-Barbera and whatnot. I always like Mickey Mouse is. I don't think I've ever watched a Mickey Mouse Clubhouse show or anything.
No. I was Tom and Jerry. If you're talking mice. Yeah. Tom and Jerry was the mouse.
Yeah, totally. Proper violence, not all this hugging and stuff, Tom
and Jerry, there's lots of hugging.
The best version of Mickey Mouse was on South Park when he loses his mind and goes ape shit. That was fucking hilarious. See, South Park, there we go.
We even had Tom and Jerry in Ukraine.
Did you? Cool.
Yeah, right. Well, right after the Union fell. It
was totally languageless. It didn't matter. You can play it anywhere. That's the wonderful thing about Tom and Jerry.
Yeah. Yeah. They remember Who Framed Roger Rabbit in the beginning? They have the cartoon with the baby and Roger. Yeah. That's totally just Tom and Jerry repositioned into two different characters, right?
Yeah.
That was funny.
I can do stars. Clunk, clunk, clunk.
The guy who plays in Who Framed Roger Rabbit, is that the same guy who plays Mario in that awful first 90s live action movie? Is it the same guy?
Bob Hoskins.
I'm not sure.
Yeah, no, he didn't play Roger Rabbit. He played the detective. That was Bob Hoskins.
Yeah,
and he was in the Mario movie.
Yeah, okay. I thought it was the same dude. Terrible movie. Wow.
He was also in a lot of gangland London gangster movies and shit. He's a great actor. He's brilliant. But
I wonder if Felix knows him then, because my son always knows those guys, like Robert Davi,
Yeah.
When he started talking about him, I'm like, who? What?
He probably doesn't know Bob Hoskins' other movies, though. It's probably not translating across.
He'd probably know it from another movie because he's never watched Rabbit. He's
oh, really?
Yeah, I tried watching that with him once, and it didn't work for him.
Didn't catch.
No.
That's interesting.
Yeah. Same with E.T. He wasn't a big fan, but he's very happy to have an anniversary copy of E.T. On his shelf, unwrapped, ready to play. It's not like he has a player, but
That's interesting. He's not into ET.
Yeah, he didn't like that much. He didn't seem to take to it. Whereas he loves like The Incredible Journey and Homeward Bound, the remakes with Michael J. Fox and stuff. He loves those.
What about, because I know you downloaded a whole bunch of 80s classics, sci-fi. What about things like The Flight of the Navigator?
We haven't watched it yet. We haven't tried.
Oh, right, okay.
Yeah. But he does like some 80s classics. Like we've watched the original 2-hour episode of Battlestar Galactica from 78 or 79, whatever that was. And
poor kid.
Are you kidding? It's awesome.
You're so mean.
Oh, says Doctor Who fan. Well,
I'm not. Why do you keep saying that? I'm not a Doctor Who fan. You bastard.
It's my in joke. But yeah, he's more into old stuff like so it works out well because it works for us. Oh, the Goonies. He loves the Goonies. Yeah. Heather Wiley was asking there in the chat.
Oh yeah. So you haven't actually started watching any of the Skeleton Crew yet?
Not yet. No.
You're saving up. Yeah, because if he likes the Goonies and he is a kind of a fan of Star Wars, isn't he?
Oh yeah, he very much, yeah.
Yeah, because I think he'll enjoy Skeleton Crew.
Yeah, I don't think he's a fan of Hayden Christensen, but he likes Star Wars.
Hayden Christensen is not a fan of Hayden Christensen.
That's true. Yeah.
Oh, poor old Hayden.
Yeah. But yeah, I love me some old Battlestar Galactica. Leathercat in the chat there, definitely. Oh yeah. I always wondered, with the Battlestar Galactica remake, they stole some of the original language, like frack and whatnot. They didn't steal, how do you say it? Felgercarb. They didn't steal that one.
What's that when it's at home? Is that like a nice meaty dish, or is it a measure of distance?
I think it's something you find in an adult nappy. I mean, it's just but they never stole that one.
I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I don't know either. I remember when I was a kid, I was like, "Oh, that's really smart. They figured out how to swear on TV without swearing on TV." I thought that was really cool.
They never said frack in the original one, did they?
Yes, they did.
Did they?
Oh, yes. What's his name there? Face from the A-Team. He said it a bunch of times.
Yeah.
Not Goody Two Shoes Apollo guy, but yeah, that's it.
I don't remember that.
He's the one that says Felger carb as well. I've always wondered what the hell, it's funny, but it just sounds hilarious. I mean,
yeah,
it's like
you nerf herder.
Yeah, exactly, right? Or those Canadian guys with hoser and stuff. I mean, it's just funny, Dirk Benedict, that's it, Jason. Thanks. Yeah, couldn't get his name out of my mouth. Well, we're coming up at 2 hours here. What do y'all think?
I think, therefore, I am.
Funny thing, Descartes there, always obviously known for
Immanuel Kant was a real percent,
very rarely stable.
Yes.
There's nothing Nietzsche couldn't teach about the raising of the wrist.
Socrates himself was permanently pissed.
There's always a Monty Python moment. It just has to happen. That's a hard song to do. I challenge anybody to try to learn that shit and do it.
Yeah, I can do it.
Even harder though is that sexually transmitted disease song.
Oh yeah, I can never remember that one.
Oh, it's so hard.
Yeah. I've been trying to understand what you guys are.
Reminds me of your smile.
Yeah, we're doing.
Sorry, Slappy.
Yeah, we're doing old Monty Python.
Okay.
Yeah, we always do this. My son and I are Monty Python addicts, and Dunk's British, so no.
Yeah, it just comes
naturally.
Yeah. He's genetically,
Yeah, you have to know Monty Python, otherwise you don't become a British citizen.
You're not allowed to vote until you can do 5 of the routines, right? You know,
this parrot is no more.
It's it is bereft of life. Got to do that full John Cleese. And the machine that goes bing.
Yeah, I didn't come for an argument. Yes, you did.
Oh man!
Sorry, Slavic. Yeah.
Do we know how to end the show?
You were trying to say something. Yeah, we're just these two.
That's okay. I forgot already. Don't worry about it.
In that case, it was probably incredibly important.
Exactly. Yeah.
Let's do a couple of shout outs here. We got Darren Vaughn in the chat. Play Rush. Darren, you always say that. They're going to get us blocked for sure, but on the New Year's stream, I will play Rush. We'll play Red Bar Cheddar, because if you're going to get blocked, you might as well get blocked from the best one. And then we got Darren Vaughn in again, so that's a $10 total here. I like to flirt. I'm old enough to be Slavi's dad. She's a great girl who represents Ukraine well. That's some damn good words.
Thanks so much.
Now, speaking of Slavi, get your sons of bitches, punk, lazy ass, too glued to your goddamn beer to get up and go and sub her channel. Dunk is firing up the Shills private jet right now. We have our hacker extraordinaires in the background getting us your addresses so you can either go sub or you can deal with us later.
I gotta say, it's quite the team that the Shills have.
Oh yeah,
very afraid. It's a really good team.
I would too.
I'm just looking for my. Oh no, that soccer counts already subscribed. Let's try another one.
Shayna on the Shills account there.
One.
She grew up with the League of Assassins, so you wouldn't even see her coming, right? And Annette has been secretly working in her lab on a special little formula. So
we see you.
Yeah, we know who you are.
Also, I have a pretty cool short. It was from Christmas and how Ukrainians kind of in Los Angeles, how we celebrate it here in a very Ukrainian traditional way. So I think that's pretty cool for people to see if you want to check that one out.
What, did you shoot a Russian?
I don't want to.
Looking on a tree.
We're still on YouTube, so we gotta keep it. But.
Yeah. That's funny. So here, big shout out to the team. We got Annette in the chat. She runs the teams around here. We got Shayna on the Shills account. Loving the work. We got PJ CNET, who runs our news team around here. Check out the 42 show and you'll see why he's such a valuable member. We got Liam Wakefield. And of course, we got Super Chat Matt. And David Worley, the NFL copyright claim extraordinaire, was in the chat there as well. I'm not blaming him for getting us claimed, but you know, he does have
the head of the shape of a football. Yeah.
Yeah. If you know Canadian football, he's got a melon like a J5V, man. It's the name of the ball. I don't know why. So, let's see here. We should end with some good consumer advice. If you're going to go to Walmart shopping for sex toys, try them on first because they're not returnable. Is that? No, that's okay.
you can't sneak them into the changing rooms. It's a bad luck.
Yeah.
Have you got one in the next size up?
Walmart sells sex toys now.
Yeah, we covered this on our 42 show recently, and I was blown away as a Canadian because in Canadian Walmarts, you can't just go in and go, yeah, I would like to get some popcorn. I need some cold cuts to make a pizza, some shredded cheese, and a butt plug, please. It just doesn't work that way. You know?
No, you see, the thing is, you should go to Costco and get them in bulk.
Why clean them when you can just throw them away? Okay. Yeah. So you see, this is why we need to go. Oh, wait a minute. We got, they exist in with a super chat here as well. I really like the short today by Slavi. Good shout out.
Thanks so much.
Very cool. So yeah, go over there, get sub to Slavi's channel, and remember, turkey only keeps so long. Don't feed that shit to your children for the next week. It's going to go bad. Throw that shit away. Is that good consumer advice?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends if it's dead or not.
Oh, it depends. It might. Maybe they cooked a ham and they're like, "This doesn't apply to me," you know.
You feed it to your dog.
Yeah.
Fatten that dog up for New Year.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. Because that's cheaper than buying a meal.
Yeah. I find it really hard to pull the feathers out of dogs. So. Strange animal.
Well, you shouldn't let them into your neighbor's chicken coop then. We're out of here. Thanks for joining us, everybody. Thanks for supporting the fundraisers and stuff. And if you look out your window and you see somebody with binoculars, you should probably go out there and kick their ass. There, good consumer advice.
Chickity chickity boo boo. Blah 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 blah. Gibberish and stuff.
He's learned how to speak Trump. Good night, everybody.
Good night.